In this video, I'm going to talk about 4 things I wished I knew before moving abroad. Hi everybody and welcome to How to Expat. My name is Tacha and I'm an expat in Colombia. Our mission is to help expats and soon-to-be expats to start their journey, to avoid gringo prices and to settle down hassle-free. This video is all based on my own experience moving abroad. I just thought that it would be helpful for other expats and soon-to-be expats to know what I wish to know before moving abroad. So the first thing I want to talk about is family. I really have to admit that I underestimated time. That means I thought I have enough time to see my family and friends before I leave, but that wasn't the case. They have their own schedule and I had my own schedule because I was still working. So we really had to find a date to see each other, and this was not easy. So I spent time with my mom, I spent time with my dad. I was even living at my mom's for a while and at my dad's for a while. So I couldn't tell that I'd see them enough because I was living with them. But still, it was difficult to just find a date to see each other. So with my friends, I had friends from my old work and from my current work at this time, and old friends, and so it was really difficult to just find a date to see all of them. So time flies. You haven't found a date yet, and yeah, so it was really difficult just to find a date to see each other and to spend time and have a great time together before we were leaving. I think it is a real struggle to find a date to see all your family and your beloved ones before you're leaving, so plan enough time before you leave. Speaking of family and friends, it is really important that you plan ahead, that you at least visit your home country once a year. You can't be sure that everybody of your family or your friends can afford to visit you or even want to. Also, my biggest struggle of all this family and friends thing is keeping in touch, keeping connected, keeping updated, what happens in their life and what happens in your life. There's a lot going on, especially if you're just starting your expat journey. So you want to make sure that you keep in touch with your family and your friends, and just to text them for once in a while, and Skyping and text messages and whatever. But it is really important to really focus on that, because it's so easy to forget about it. I know it sounds silly, but actually it is like that. They're just living their life like it was before, and you have a total new life, and you have new adventures, new things you have to think of. So you kind of forget your family back home. So you really have to remind yourself to call your family once in a while, to keep in touch by email or WhatsApp or whatever, and to post also on Facebook, because probably there are a lot of people waiting for your photos to see what you're doing and just to see that you're doing well. And so yeah, it's really important just to keep in touch with your family and just don't forget about them, and so at least going back once a year just to make them happy, and you as well. The second thing I wished I knew before being an expat abroad is preparing. I thought I was really well prepared for what's coming, and I wasn't at all. I saw a lot of documentaries about Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, whatever, and also I asked people who were living there or just traveling through or whatever, and I thought, okay, now nothing can surprise me anymore. I know everything about all those Latin countries I want to live in. And so we left Switzerland and we came here, and eventually we decided for Colombia. But there were a lot of surprises for us. Even though I watched a lot of documentaries, I could never imagine how it would be to live here. Also, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, vlogs and everything, and travel videos and documentaries and whatever. But still, it's not enough to just imagine how life abroad will be. You have to see it your own. You can be prepared, of course. You at least need to know about cost of living and the language they're speaking here and all this kind of stuff, like the basic stuff. But really to know how life would be abroad, you can't imagine it. You have to see it by your own, because everyone's perspective is different. So somebody will love to be in Medellin, Colombia, for example, and some will hate it due to the weather, due to the traffic, whatever. So people are so different. So you can't rely on what people are telling you on YouTube or documentaries and all that kind of stuff. If I would have believed in all the documentaries I saw on TV and on YouTube and wherever, I would never come to Colombia, because they're just telling you about the safety issues, about the criminals, about the drugs and all this kind of stuff, and also about the Amazon and the diversity of nature and animals. But we're not living in the Amazon, and we were not planning to live in the Amazon, so this is not telling you anything about life here. Of course, it is good to just have an idea of what you have to expect abroad, but it will never be the same. Just be prepared for good and bad surprises. So the third thing I would love to know before I moved abroad is to get a thicker skin to embarrass yourself. I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's actually how it is, or how it was, or still is, whatever. So how should I explain this to you? What I mean by that is you have to learn a new language probably, and you have to adjust to a new culture. So for example, even though you're speaking Spanish already, and you're coming from a Spanish-speaking country, that doesn't mean that everything's same. So for example, there's a word, coger, and coger means to take, like tomar. But in some countries in Latin America, they use this word as they use it like making love with each other and not to take something. So you really have to watch out what you're saying, because there are a lot of differences. Even though they're speaking the same language, there are differences. So you have to watch out, because you can pretty get embarrassed by saying coger in the wrong country. And so, for example, Sam last time, he wanted to say 14, and this is 14 in Spanish. But he thought like, okay, 16 is 16, so 14 would be 14. Sometimes it's just not possible to direct translate things that you would say in your own language to Spanish, for example. So you have to really watch out. And so what I'm saying is, there are a lot of things that I'll think in German, for example, and I say in Spanish, like direct translated into Spanish, and it just comes out wrong. And yeah, that can be embarrassing from times to times. But now I'm quite used to it. But before, I'm a person who feels really fast embarrassed, so I had my struggles at the beginning, but now I'm quite used to embarrass myself. But also my Spanish is getting better, and like the awareness of the culture and everything. But still, after years, you will have some embarrassing moments, but that's nothing bad at all. So just be prepared to embarrass yourself and you're good. So the fourth thing I wish to know before is the challenges. So there are a lot of challenges waiting for you in the new country you like to move to. But this shouldn't terrify you at all, because you will grow with all those challenges you never have had before. And I grew really with those challenges, and my personality changed in a way, because yeah, now I'm used to embarrass myself and it's all totally okay, for example. And There are a lot of other things that you will get used to. When you're growing, you will also start to see things in another perspective. That means when you're going back to your home country, for example, you will see things with other eyes, and you will understand other cultures better and yourself and a lot of other things. Also, you should be aware that you have to be understanding with your family and friends when you're telling them about all your adventures and the struggle you went through and what you learned and your new perspective, because maybe they won't understand you because maybe they never traveled to another country, or they just don't know and understand the culture you're living in. And so from time to time maybe it's hard to really explain what you went through, and just be understanding with your family, because you didn't knew it yourself before you started your expat journey. You didn't know what you will go through, and so be understanding with your family, and don't be mad if they just can't understand what you're doing, and just try to explain. But yeah, like I said, don't get mad or disappointed when they don't understand it. So I would like to know, what are your things that you wish to know before you moved abroad, or the things you'd like to know now before you're moving abroad? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful, and don't forget to like and subscribe if this is the content you're looking for. See you next time.